What's up everyone, this is Andrew, and today we have a comparison video between the Hifiman Sundara and the Hifiman 4XX. These are two very popular headphones, and online you see a lot of questions asking about them and how they compare to each other. So I'm going to try and answer some of those questions and hopefully help you guys out with this video. Let's get into it. Starting off with build quality. Right away you can tell the Sundara has a more premium build to it, has more metal. The headband is this nice aluminum over, whereas the 4XX is just kind of a soft leatherette. And overall, the Sundaras definitely, I think, look better and they feel a little better. I will say mine at first when I opened them, I thought they were a little creaky when I started moving them around. They're not meant to swivel, but they just seemed a little creaky. It's kind of gone away now. And so I think they're both solid as they are. No, Hifiman has some issues with build quality, and that's throughout their entire line. So I can't say that's not a plus for either of these. It's just a minus for both, but constant between the two of them. I think the Sundara is a more premium vibe, even though I think the 4XX looks really good, especially for its price. You do get some metal there, and I think the styling is pretty nice. They both have a pretty cool design, I would say, on the ear cups. I like the graded look of the Sundaras a little more, but I think the 4XX definitely hold their own. I think they're both very attractive looking headphones. And overall, I definitely give Hifiman, big plus when it comes to the actual styling of these and the choice of materials. Build quality, as I mentioned earlier, is a little sketchy, but we'll see how these two hold up. One thing I didn't like about the Sundaras right from the beginning was their cable. And I opened up the Sundaras, I listened to them a little bit, and they sounded amazing. And the next time, maybe a day or two later, I went to listen to them, they just didn't sound as good. I was trying to figure out what was wrong. I was doing comparison tests and going for the 4XX. These sounded just much flatter, less detailed, and I couldn't tell what was wrong. I just knew something was off. So I started fumbling around, and I adjusted the cable. I just tweaked it to the side, and all of a sudden, the sound of the fullness just came in. All the details kind of came in and really just kind of amplified everything. And I was like, oh, it's just the cable wasn't at the right, position. But that's not really how it should be. The cable should function no matter what, as long as it's plugged into the amplifier. So what I did after that was actually bought a cheap cable on Amazon to replace it. And since then, I haven't had that issue. This cable is maybe $15 on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. And it's fixed that problem, and I'm much happier with it than the stock cable on the Sundara. The cable on the 4XX I've had no issues with. It works fine. It always gives me the actual sound it's supposed to give me. And so I guess that's a win for the 4XX. But this is a quick fix for the Sundara. And if you order a pair, you might not have the same issue that I faced. Jumping into the comfort of these headphones, I think they're pretty similar, at least in my experience. I can listen to both of them for extended periods of time, and neither of them bother me. More likely, I think the sound will bother me before the actual comfort of the headphones. I am pretty sensitive to the high range and the treble, and just in general, my ears, even if the high range isn't or the treble isn't that sharp, sometimes I still just need to give it a break. And so for me, the actual comfort of the ear cups and the headphones is good for both of them. They both weigh very similar. I believe the 4XX weighs in at 370 grams and the Sundara is 372. I think these are both from Hifiman's site. So they're very similar in weight. So you'd expect them to feel pretty similar, and they do. I've seen both of these headphones marketed to be usable without an amplifier, the Sundaras in particular. Their stock cable is pretty short, maybe for the more mobile or phone focused person. While I 100% recommend getting an amp, you're going to get the best sound with an amp, and it is noticeable, very easily noticeable, the budget amp compared to using your phone or your laptop. I can use my laptop or my phone to drive these, and they still sound pretty good, obviously not as good. But with my phone, I don't even need to go up to max volume to get, a decent sound and a decent volume out of these. I've seen some people say that they have to max volume on their phone just to get to close to where they want to. I'm not a huge volume person, so I think that might be part of the reason why. But I definitely would recommend, if you're looking at either of these headphones, definitely get an amplifier with it. But if you're looking for something that you can also use with your phone, I think it is doable. When it comes to getting the most out of your headphones and getting an amplifier, while obviously a better amplifier will lead to better performance in most cases, I don't think you need to go out and get an extreme amplifier, an expensive one, to get the most out of these. I think for the most part, a budget amplifier like the JDS Labs Atom or the Shit Heresy will do a perfect job of driving these. I have an Asgard behind me that I've been testing out, and maybe it sounds a little better and it has more power than the Heresy, but it's not a big difference. It's not like, oh, you need to get an Asgard or something with a certain amount of power to really get the full enjoyment. Something like $100, an Atom or a Heresy will do just fine. Before I jump into sound quality and the differences between these two headphones, I want to touch upon why these two get compared so often and really the purpose behind this video. Many people believe that the Sundara is a direct upgrade of the 4XX, and with good reason why they make that assumption. There are both from Hifiman, and the 4XX comes in at around $180 and the Sundara is around $350, so it seems like the next logical step. But I'm going to start off by saying that's not the case, and that kind of spoils the sound part of this video. But they are very different headphones, and I definitely wouldn't say the Sundara is a direct upgrade over the 4XX. Starting off with the Sundara, one thing I want to talk about is that after watching a ton of headphone reviews, I always see people talking about how fast the headphone is, and I felt like I never really understood what they were talking about. You can kind of get it, but until you actually listen to a fast headphone, I don't think it's easy to really understand what they're talking about. And when I first started listening to the Sundaras, very quickly I said, "Oh, this is what they're talking about. This is the first fast headphone I've really owned and listened to extensively." The detailing on the Sundaras is nothing short of incredible. And, from a more layman's perspective, just picking out the different instruments and the more quiet sounds, you can just hear everything with these. It is truly an incredible experience compared to the other headphones I've listened to that are all usually pretty good. But this is just like a next level of detailing. And a lot of people talk about this as a mid-range headphone as kind of the next step up. And I definitely think it fulfills that by being better than most things that are cheaper than it, if not everything that's cheaper than it, from an overall detail perspective. With that said, it's not just a pure upgrade in every way over the 4XX. The 4XX is still an incredible headphone. Don't get me wrong, it is still very detailed and everything, just not as much as the Sundara. But it does actually have a few properties that are better than the Sundara, or really it's up to your personal preference. But in terms of the soundstage, the 4XX actually has a wider soundstage than the Sundara. That's one place the Sundara is lacking. The 4XX is also a bassier headphone and has more of a focus on the low end. And so a lot of people find these very enjoyable in the more bassy genres, such as, hip hop, rock, hard rock, like those kind of genres. A lot of people do enjoy these a lot. And I won't go as far to say that these are better for those genres, because those are two genres that I listen to a lot. Those are my main genres. And I find the Sundaras still be a more enjoyable experience, and I enjoy listening to Sundaras more than these. But that's not to say this is a bad experience. It's just different. And then it comes down to your preference of, do you really want that low end? Does that really add a lot to you, to your experience? If you're someone who's really looking for a lot of low end punch, but still good clarity and detail for a, fairly budget headphone, this could seal the deal for you right there at around $180. This does deliver more significant bass than the Sundara. And those differences with soundstage and the bass performance are the main reasons why I would say these two aren't direct upgrades or downgrades between each other. Really, you could say the Sundara is more of an upgrade to other headphones more so than these, such as like the 6XX. I would say it's closer to the Sundara than these 4XXs. Because I've bought everything I've shown on my channel so far with my own money, I was actually hoping this would be more of a direct upgrade to the 4XX. That way I could just sell my 4XX and recoup some money to buy for future things. But because they're so different, I probably will end up keeping both. I would say, if anything, these are a little more similar to the 6XX, but I definitely want to keep those Sennheisers for future comparisons, and also I just really enjoy them. The differences between these two headphones does make the conclusion of this video a little tough, because it's not just a direct, these are better if you want to spend more money, those are if you have less money, the 4XX, and it's not like that at all. It's really going to depend on your personal preference, what genres you like, what you're looking for in headphones. If you're looking for a pair of headphones that are really detailed, very granular, and very revealing, they show you everything, all the details, all the instruments, and that's what you're looking for, a more neutral and analytical feel, then this is what you're looking for. The Sundara is over here. And many people throughout the audio community feel that these are the best option for that choice under $500. And at their current price of $350, many people feel that these might just be the best headphones, period, for $350 and less. So if you're looking for the best technically, the most detailed, this is where you should look. But if you're coming for more mainstream stuff and you're really into, more bass heavy with your music, that's your preference, that's your style, you don't have other maybe audiophile headphones, and you're just kind of now transitioning into hi-fi, then I would suggest still looking at the 4XX for that more familiar sound, but it will still be much more detailed and a much higher quality than most mainstream consumer products out there. If I was starting over and had to buy one headphone for $350 or less, and that was my only headphone for a year, I would go with these. I would go with them over the 4XX. I would go with them over the Sennheiser 6XX. I think these are really enjoyable. I love the sound that they're giving me, and they're just my choice. However, I do think the 4XX is a great pair of headphones, especially if you're more budget conscious or you just really prefer that bass sound. I think there's a lot of value there and a lot of enjoyability to be had. Those are very fun headphones. I enjoy them a lot. I'm not selling them, so I think either way you can't go wrong, but they are very different, and it's important to know what you're looking for in a pair of headphones. If you like content like this, please subscribe. I have more videos coming along on headphones, budget amplifiers, music sources such as Spotify versus Amazon Music. I got a bunch of videos coming up, all related to audio. So if that piques your interest, please subscribe. We really appreciate it, and have a great day.